Okay, let's talk about something you've probably stared at for hours. It's on millions of screens, in thousands of boardrooms, and yeah, it's probably the source of a lot of your work-related stress. We're talking about the Gantt chart. But what if I told you there's a surprising and frankly kind of inspiring story behind the tool that, let's be honest, everyone loves to hate?
You know the meeting I'm talking about, right? The project is slipping, the pressure is way up, and someone points to this crazy web of overlapping bars, demanding to know why a task is red. It's become the symbol of top-down control and, rigid, often totally unrealistic planning.
But here's the thing. What if the entire way we use this chart is a complete flip of its original purpose? What if the guy who invented it would be absolutely horrified to see how we use it today as a tool for just applying pressure? To really understand the chart, you first have to understand the man. So let's pull back the curtain and find out who this guy really was. His name was Henry Gantt. And yeah, you might know the name, but I'm willing to bet you don't know his story.
So here's our first clue. Gantt was a mechanical engineer and a management consultant. Now, back in the early 20th century, management consultant meant something different. These guys were basically pioneers in a brand new field called scientific management.
And here's the real kicker, the thing that changes everything. He wasn't a project manager, not even close. In fact, he wasn't even trying to make a project management tool in the first place. His world was the factory floor. I mean, think about it. Loud, complex, industrial chaos with stuff constantly in motion. He wasn't managing these neat, one-off projects with a clear start and end. No, he was trying to fix how work actually flowed through these massive, complicated production systems. And that right there brings us to the biggest misunderstanding about his famous chart. See, we look at it like it's a map to the future, but he designed it to be a mirror of the present. Just take a look at this early version. It shows you everything you need to know. This was never a promise about what will happen. It was a progress chart. It was made for busy production floors to show what is happening right now, in this moment. So this is the whole point. The original purpose of the Gantt chart was to surface reality. That's it. It was a tool to show delays the second they happened and to make problems totally visible to everyone so they could, actually be solved. It was never about predicting the future. It was about telling the truth about the present. And this tool, it didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was the physical manifestation of a really human-centered management philosophy. So let's take a look at the actual beliefs that are hiding behind those bars.
Gantt believed that good management was all about removing obstacles for your workers, not just cracking the whip to make them go faster. He was all about fairness over favoritism. He knew that if you just give people clarity, they can take responsibility for their work. And if you make everything visible, it becomes almost impossible for anyone to pass the buck. The chart was his way of making all these ideas real.
Seriously, think about that for a second. His charts were never about control. They were about trust, about flow, and about bringing a little dignity to the work people were doing every day. It was a tool for empowerment, not for enforcement.
So, if this thing was designed for transparency and fairness, how in the world did it become the symbol of pressure and control that we all know today? Well, that's the great irony of this story, and that's what we're going to get into next.
Okay, so on the left, you see one of those early charts, a record of what actually happened. It's all about reality. Then, on the right, you have the modern version, a predictive plan that, let's be real, often becomes a weapon the second reality doesn't perfectly match that plan.
The great irony is, we did this. We flipped it completely upside down. We took a mirror and we tried to turn it into a crystal ball.
Yeah, a tool that was literally designed to optimize systems and protect the dignity of the people doing the work. Well, it's slowly morphed into a way to apply pressure on those exact same people. It's often become just a political mask, hiding the real truth under a bunch of red, yellow, and green boxes.
But knowing all this history, it gives us a new lens, right? We can remember its true purpose and maybe, just maybe, start using it a little differently.
First, it was all about learning. The chart was meant to be a diagnostic tool, something that helped teams learn from what was happening in real time so they could get better.
Next up, visibility. And not so that management could point fingers. No, it was so that the workers themselves could see the whole system and really understand their critical part in it.
And finally, it all came down to fairness. By making delays and what caused them obvious to everybody, it stopped the blame game. It protected workers from being unfairly accused of things that weren't their fault. So the next time you're in that meeting and someone points to the Gantt chart, just remember where it came from. And maybe ask the most important question you can. Is this chart actually showing us the truth so we can solve problems together, or is it just being used to hide it?